in the Brody first before it gets banned out in the second phase.
Considering how this seems to be playing out, it's not the worst of ideas. Having a strong gold lane can help out with how aggressive they want to be with the diversion that the Deloy can bring as well. It is an option, and if it's not explored now, it's going to be so difficult later on, but it's going to be a Paquito first. An aggressive pick, most likely in the hand of Dawn right here, up against an X-Borg. Quite the skill matchup, but now EVOS can have ways to really deny even more gold laners. For RRQ, you have to wonder what exactly is the plan here. With 2 more bans left, is it going to be used for the mid lane, for the roam?
It's a big question right now. I mean, technically, some sort of flex here for EVOS as well with the Barats, but technically with the X-Borg already, it should be an X-Borg XP, Barats in the jungle, and a Herald in the gold lane. Same thing goes to RRQ with the Fredrin and Paquito and the Lo Yi. We all know where they're going, and for RRQ, it makes it a lot easier to target that mid lane down. Clawhood has been one of the key factors as to how EVOS Glory get that mid-game power spike and take games over with heroes such as the Valentina and Novaria. Well, we have a quote from a former EVOS legend.
From Emperor. If you look at the recent performance of both teams, my prediction is 2-1, EVOS will win. Now the question is that a prediction or is that support coming in from him? I mean, technically you can argue that with a new RRQ lineup, then perhaps he's overlooking that maybe chemistry is not yet there, but he shouldn't have known the lineup.
Right, I mean, I guess that's just how much faith he has in his team right now. With the Minotaur banned as well, though, seems like RRQ are still trying to go for a fight, and they want to avoid all these big card control tools. But against this global presence, you know, we've seen that Carmilla be a great counter for teams who want to just collide and go in aggressively. Unlike a chip, though, the Lo Yi can be a bit more flexible, so that is something that maybe RRQ might be baiting EVOS into thinking.
So we saw a comment from Emperor earlier on. Let's see a comment from a former Rex Arega McKayon player. I believe RRQ can win. We need this victory. Let's go. Full support from everyone. But back to the drafts. Helkert has actually been left open. Might we see that come through? We've seen EVO starting to experiment with their drafts. Maybe not so much for RRQ, but they go in for the Franco. So they're really betting that they can go for pickoffs with the Luo Yi, with the Franco too. It's a signature hero for Vin as well.
I think it's going to be a different way to play the Franco. I think this Franco will be played by utilizing the flank potential of the Lo Yi. Because usually we expect Francos to land hooks. Sure, he can do that in the early game, but towards the later stage, Herod is probably going to have Purify. Barats has a built-in anti-CC, and X-Borg, I don't know if you want to really hook the X-Borg. The Vexana there as well to cancel out the Bloody Hunt ASAP in case anyone does get hit by that suppression. And the last pick, Tigreal. But will we see that Helkert? Will we see something new for RRQ? They need a gold laner. I don't think so.
Exactly.
And what gold laner fits here? In a proper team fight, it doesn't seem like there's any real good picks to really combat EVOS. They gotta rely on some kind of snowball or some kind of big AoE. No, it's gonna be a Roger. They're just banking on full-on aggression. Technically 3 fighters, 1 hook, 1 suppression, and a diversion. Will that be enough to take down the Tigers, though? It all depends on the execution.
It's peculiar, right? Because if they really wanted to commit to that early game snowball pickoff strat, I would have thought that maybe a Brody could have worked better. I think you made a face earlier. What are your thoughts on the Roger?
Well, you know, the Roger pick is the safest pick there, right? Technically, you can also go for the carry, but you need a bit more range, you need a bit more survivability. The Brody pick, though okay against the Herod, it's too risky to pick up for RRQ here. There's a Tigreal. Bad part about Brody is you're kind of forcing the flicker, and if you go for that up against a Tig, you're free food for EVOS. And right now, we just have to see the lineup rating. Skylar, a very risky battle spell, no Purify.
So even then, he doesn't go for the Purify. Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. The decisions have been made. The compositions have been set. Welcome to game number 1 of the second classical derby of MPL ID.
Welcome to
Season
Mobile
13.
Legends.
As we just get straight into game number 1, EVOS versus Rex, Regum, Kaon.
I'll tell you one thing, in this early game, Vin has a lot of work to be doing, man. He cannot be passive. He needs to try and make this Franco work better than any time before right here against a composition that will be able to be so dominant in a team fight. Seems like early aggression is what RRQ are attempting to use, but to what end? Which lane will they prioritize? That is the main question here, that maybe EVOS need to try and consider as well. Look at the battle spells. No purifies for both teams. Quantum Charge on Skylar though, does seem like he's going to be playing it more of a standard style. Vin with the focusing mark, of course, will be looking to try and augment that damage. The rest of the emblems here by GameSmack showing Brands with a tenacity, knowing that he's going to be one of the main targets. Inspire for an extra bit of cooldown reduction, for more mobility, more shields, more outplay potential. Same thing can be said for Klokun, whose job here, I think, is going to be all defensive crowd control and letting Dreams do his thing as the main engager for the side of EVOS.
A lot of eyes placed on the Roger pick, on the Franco pick as well. But one thing that is special, that is kind of poetic for RRQ's Clay, is this pick that he's on was the very pick he used to knock RRQ out in the Season 7 playoffs, day number 1. And it was his signature pick before joining RRQ, back with Genflix's Aerowolf on this Luo Yi.
That's actually pretty good insight there. And talking about the Luo Yi, I think the Luo Yi and the Franco, they also have a little bit of a loophole in the early game. Why? Because they're not dependent on that level 4 power spike. Look at that damage already coming through. Vin, level 1, already has the Iron Hook. So, in theory, they do have a lot of power, but Dreams is not letting it come through easily as they both collapse now on the next neutral objective.
The burst that you have with the Paquito and the Luo Yi, already seen through the Faraga armor, taken out completely. RRQ looking for an angle to join in. Dreams instantly with a flicker and the implosion. It's an Eternal Guard. They shove him in. Not a miss of it all. It's first blood over to EVOS. It's everything to EVOS. And Don will have to just punch the Eternal Guard. Dreams with a double. Klokun with a double. A disaster for RRQ.
That's essentially a wiped out 4v4, 4 members taken out. This early on, the fact that they were able to level all their resources, that CC was so overwhelming that RRQ, without any purifies, unable to respect that CC, unable to get out of that engage either.
I mean, it was decisive, but it just wasn't. Look at the turn prediction by Mirko, though. What is that supposed to mean, Mirko?
I am not allowed to bless, nor am I allowed to curse. This is a classic derby, okay? I shall not interfere.
Everyone's looking at him as well in the arena. But yes, Arashi, keep going.
I feel like right now RRQ, they gotta win in the setup as well. They've already shown that they have better burst. They do have tools here to really gain success, but especially with that Franco pick, they gotta start off a fight off a hook, man. They can't walk in like that and allow Dreams to be the proactive one. They picked up 2 kills in that fight, and Klokun picked up the rest. Against a Vexana and Tigreal, you gotta be a bit further away, but look at this secret play.
Body Hunt cancelled by the shove from Dreams, no implosion yet. An RQ, an Iron Hook over Dreams! Finds an implosion to find them all! And now Brands goes wild in the back, finds a trade. It's roll for roll, but look at the rest of EVOS who are coming back onto him. Skylar with a flicker, now in Lycan Pounce will still be caught in the Eternal Guard and stopped down by Annabelle.
Goosebumps. That instant turnaround, that counter engage coming in from EVOS was brilliant. Amazing implosion by Dreams, being able to buy some time as well, and the follow-up from the rest of the members. The synchronization that EVOS are currently displaying, that is what was so concerning about RRQ with this new lineup.
RRQ, they're trying to be creative and catch EVOS off guard, but EVOS just seemed prepared for everything. They told us welcome.
Annabelle with a chop down onto Vin, throwing him in, and my goodness! Say goodbye to Vin. Brands with his own Nizamon force in the back. Don. Ferricic trying to follow up. Don just needs one more shot and finds it onto Klokun. Clay gonna be melted down by the likes of Brands and Fluffy. In a turtle. It's gonna be Dreams who locks him down, but Ferricic somehow is able to steal it away. Now Dreams with a knock up and Fluffy blows him up with the last insanity.
They got the neutral objective RRQ, but at what cost? They're just throwing bodies at EVOS again and again. It's a better performance with Dawn going for the flank, denying Clock and taking him out. But they gotta plan further as Dreams makes another play.
Knocks him up, no implosion thus far. Skylar with a Lycan pounce, but Brands is just going ham. A Bloody Hunter cancel out the dashes, but it's not gonna help Skylar to escape. It will still just be a 1-for-0 as Annabelle looks to go up top. An Iron Hook or Dreams. But now with Annabelle stopping him down. Deaton is welcome, a chop down, and now it will be Vin again, taken out for the 4th time in this game. Dreams will not even be traded back, and RRQ are on the back foot.
Dreams is popping off here in game number 1, a 2-0-6 so far. And you can already see that he's been helping Brand so well already with the Starlium side.
And even here, the mid lane turret gets taken out as well. Almost everyone on the side of EVOS, including Dreams, nearing a 1k gold advantage. Clockern with Chat Talisman is just going to be spamming those spells out. So in a big fight, I feel like now RRQ, they have to go for the isolated fights, the real legitimate pickoffs. Even in skirmishes 3v3, 4v4, I don't feel like they have the tools necessary to really come out on top here.
I mean, essentially they still have Clay's diversion, right? It hasn't been utilized too much so far. It feels like they're using the diversion as a response to EVOS's footprints. They're like playing into the tempo of the White Tigers and not vice versa.
Seems like they're just adapting and moving according to what EVOS is doing. Again and again, even with the diversion, they're always one step behind, and EVOS are always the ones already in place, already set up for a neutral objective take or a pickoff again and again. With Vin finding information right here, they're so far behind. I don't know if they still want to go for a fight. 5k gold behind here.
Diversion play into the midst of it all. Vin with a flicker on the Bloody Hunt, but he's all alone. Now isolated and taken down for the 5th time in this game. RRQ will find nothing with that.
It's looking really bleak for RRQ right now, but EVO's just coming into the jungle uncontested. No one able to stay in the front. Worried about Dreams just catching them with the implosion, and even Clay, the strong mid laner with a lot of damage output, is now zoned away by the potential of just the full-on dive coming in from EVOS.
He's falling too far behind. I guess in terms of damage, it's not quite there yet. If I'm not mistaken, he only has 1 item. I think it was the Enchanted Talisman. But of course, the displacement, the utility that it offers does still help. But the damage is no longer there. That loophole in the early game, it's past. EVOS Glory are already sitting at a 6,000 gold lead in 8 minutes. Talk about snowball.
And their composition doesn't make it any easier for RRQ. An X-Borg that has a second life, a Tigreal that can counter-engage, the jungler that can have a crowd control immunity. There are very limited options RRQ have right here that if they really want to go for a pick-off. They have to find Brands who's positioning very well with a lot of outplay potential, shielding and mobility, or they have to get the Clockun who's in the back. And if they just send everyone to try and send out damage to Clockun, then the backline gets absolutely decimated by the frontliners, the fighters of EVOS who are ahead in gold, who will do a lot more damage.
You can even see in terms of gold, right? Brand's number 1, 7k already. What was the last item? So already has 3 items.
Right. So, man, it's going to be so difficult for RRQ to find anything right here as EVOS. Once again, they're just contesting everything and they're still building up for an insane snowball. With Brands getting the Blood Wings as well, he's going to be even more tanky. I don't think even if he gets hooked, his team won't be able to save him.
Oh no, Brand still gets the buff as well.
And that's the big concern right now for RRQ with that Franco pick, right? They all technically have ways. Heck, Brands, the guy we expected to bring Purify, even doesn't even care about the Iron Hook. He knows that the tanky members in the front will be enough to take the Iron Hook, and that's what Fluffy's doing already now, zoning Vin away. It's burning him down, melting him down, and Skylar is in the bottom lane, so they are technically forced to concede. Versick in the bush right now. Versick, no, he's not able to steal it, but he dodges away from the shove. Brands now with the Zaman Force, Versick with the top, and now gets brought back by the missiles and chopped down by Annabelle. Fluffy burns him down, and RRQ lose their jungler.
Skylar trying to do what he can in the bottom side of the map. He should be able to get that turret.
No way.
He doesn't?
Wait, it's so low. It should be taken out by the cannon minion. It's standing for quite a while there. Wow.
They don't even get that trade.
That turret survived for way too long. You take a look at the items here. Fluffy already with the War Axe and the Brute Force Breastplate. He's going to be a lot more mobile and he's going to be doing a lot more damage. And Annabelle is just going to be way too tanky. They cannot pick him off, but maybe.
All the way in the back. Dreams again, finding an implosion on the two members. It's going to be Finn. He gets taken down with the killing spree. Picked up for EVOS. This might just be the end, 10 minutes in. RRQ still trying to defend. Dreams and Annabelle getting very low. Buffy losing it for Frog Armor. Skylar jumps in with Lycan Pounce, but Buffy has the immortality. Skylar forced to run away. In the bottom lane, no minute done! With a knockout! Onto Brands, finding one. RRQ chasing EVOS Glory out of their base. But it is still a win for EVOS. They've cracked the base open.
A 9,000 gold lead from the White Tigers. A nice shutdown onto Brands, but like you mentioned, the base has been cracked. Luckily for RRQ, it is the mid lane that was cracked. It wasn't those side lanes, and we're coming to the point where both of these teams are going to start going for the next Lord. A diversion play. Where are they going? Are they going? Oh.
Right into Fluffy, but External Guard finds three. Dreams looking for an angle to go for an implosion, not able to find it as that's going to be the rotation to cut him off. RRQ backing away after that risky gamble of a play with the diversion.
Hail Mary play, it didn't work out.
They're showing that they are still looking for opportunities though. They have not given up. Fortunately, like you mentioned, Eterna, the mid turret was the one taken out. So RRQ, they can still look for something here. They won't be really forced to deal with empowered waves. But the same problem still persists. Right there, I think EVOS has overlooked the damage that Clay can provide with the spammable nature of the spells of the Loyi. But now it's still at a 9k gold lead, more or less. RRQ are still the ones just desperately trying to find something. And EVOS aren't really giving them a lot to work with.
Oh no.
Skylar checks the bush. Implosion used up, but he is able to flicker out. Now Vin looking for Brands, who's forced to flicker as well. Two flickers burnt, both gold laners.
Ooh, great respect for Brands there to immediately use the flicker. I guess he still is very wary of the potential of RRQ to just pull off something crazy. The bottom side is pushing, but Fluffy will be able to deal with that. And here's the problem now, without all these turrets, RRQ are losing a lot of safe zones they can usually use to coordinate, to set up for big plays, especially with the next big neutral objective coming up. The Lord up right here. EVOS are already grouping together, making sure that they have each other's backs if RRQ does go for an insane pickoff attempt.
I wonder if RRQ are now starting to regret not utilizing the Purify. But either or, honestly, they can try to bait it out with... They can try to bait out Dreams with the Iron Hook.
Ooh. A lot of damage.
Yeah, quite a bit onto Fluffy.
That's Loyi burst potential. So I guess the X-Borg, some damage can be traded back. That's because no one else is around. If RRQ keep repeating that process, Fluffy can try and bait that out and then allow his team to just come in and cut off RRQ right from the center. It seems that they're still trying to make sure that the Lord does not get resetted.
Oh, no.
But this is not a situation that benefits Persik as Brands picks up his fourth item, the Holy Crystal, massive power spike.
Massive power stack, and Persik is 2 levels below. But it looks like RRQ still want to commit.
Oh, this is a risky play, but they have to do it now. Persik jumps in, but he will not be able to find the Dreams again. Finds the implosion onto Persik. Cut down by Brands. Clay forced to flick around. Vin with a bloody hunt now onto Brands. They're able to go for the knockout now, and that's going to be one member traded in for 2, but the Lord still goes in favor to EVOS. Diversion onto the base to get them to safety. Oh Lord, enhanced this time in the mid lane. Coming to crash down on RRQ's base.
They don't have Brands. They don't have Siege at this point. RRQ, they should still be able to defend.
Done, going for the minion clear. As that's the last insanity to the back of the Eternal Guard from Klokun will be the last weapon for EVOS to take RRQ down in game number 1. Not even the Prince can deny this from EVOS. 1-0 start to the Classic Derby.
A very convincing win at that. The White Tigers dominated the Kings of Kings in game number 1. And my personal highlight was Dreams. He popped off on the Tigreal. We don't see Tigreal that often anymore in this meta, the way that these patches have been rolling in. But in this particular composition and against the composition of RRQ, it worked out really well. They were banking on the fact that they